Hey everybody, Amin here, and if you're anything like me, you're always looking for an edge in your games. Today, I've got 10 tips that can instantly boost your gaming performance, and most of them won't cost you a dime. We're talking about squeezing every last frame out of your rig, eliminating lag, and making sure you have the smoothest, most responsive gaming experience possible. So buckle up, smash that like button, and let's dive into the wonderful world of performance optimization. Alright, let's start with something simple but surprisingly effective. This is a setting that often flies under the radar but can make a world of difference. We're talking about your power plan settings. Yes, those settings you probably haven't touched since you first set up your PC. By default, Windows is set to balanced power mode, which tries to find a middle ground between performance and energy saving. It's like your PC is trying to be eco-friendly. But we're gamers, right? We don't do middle ground. We want every bit of performance squeezed out of our systems. So head over to your power options, just search for it in the Start menu, and select High Performance Mode. It's a quick change that can have a big impact. This tells your system to stop messing around with power throttling and give your components all the juice they can handle. No more holding back. It's like switching from regular unleaded to high-octane fuel for your PC. Your system will be ready to roar. Now I know what you're thinking. Linus, won't that make my computer sound like a jet engine? And yeah, it might make your fans spin up a bit more, especially if you're rocking an older system, but that's a small price to pay for better performance. But hey, you gotta suffer for performance, right? Just kidding, it's not that bad. Seriously though, the performance gains you get from this simple tweak can be pretty significant, especially in CPU-bound games. You might see higher frame rates and smoother gameplay, so give it a try and see if you notice a difference. You might be pleasantly surprised. You can always switch back if you're not happy with it. It's not a permanent change. Trust me, your games will thank you for it. Happy gaming. Okay, this one might seem obvious, but you wouldn't believe how many people are running outdated drivers and operating systems. Outdated drivers can cause all sorts of issues, from performance drops to crashes and compatibility problems. So first things first, head over to your graphics card manufacturer's website, NVIDIA, AMD, or Intel, and download the latest drivers for your GPU. Don't rely on Windows Update for this, go straight to the source. While you're at it, check for updates for your motherboard chipset, audio drivers, network adapters, basically anything and everything. And of course, make sure your operating system is up to date as well. Just don't come crying to me when your game crashes in the middle of a boss fight because you're running drivers from 2015. Alright, let's talk about background processes. You know, all those programs that like to hang out in your system tray and pretend they're not doing anything. Well, guess what? They're doing something, and that something is eating up your precious system resources. Before you launch your game, take a moment to close any unnecessary programs running in the background. This includes web browsers, especially Chrome, that resource hog, music players, chat applications, anything you don't absolutely need while you're gaming. Think of it like this, your computer's resources are like a pizza, and every program you have running is taking a slice. The more programs you close, the bigger the slice your game gets. Your computer will thank you for it, and you might even see a nice little performance boost. Let's talk about storage for a minute, specifically the difference between a solid-state drive or SSD and a traditional hard disk drive or HDD. These two types of storage devices have their own unique advantages and disadvantages, and choosing the right one can significantly impact your computing experience. If you're still gaming on an HDD in this day and age, well, I'm not here to judge, but I am here to tell you that you're missing out. HDDs have been around for decades, and while they offer large storage capacities at a lower cost, they simply can't keep up with the speed of SSDs. SSDs are significantly faster than HDDs, and this can make a huge difference in gaming performance. With an SSD, your games will load much quicker, and you'll notice a substantial improvement in overall system responsiveness. We're talking about faster loading times, reduced stuttering, and even smoother gameplay overall. Imagine jumping into your favorite game almost instantly, without those annoying delays that can break immersion. Now, I understand that SSDs can be more expensive than HDDs, especially if you need a lot of storage space. However, the price of SSDs has been steadily decreasing, making them more accessible than ever before. But trust me, the performance gains are well worth the investment. The speed and reliability of an SSD can breathe new life into an older system and provide a much smoother experience for new builds. Even if you can only afford a smaller SSD for your operating system and your most played games, it will make a world of difference. This way, you can enjoy the best of both worlds. Speed for your critical applications and ample storage for everything else. If you're on a tight budget, you can always move some of your less frequently used games to an external HDD to free up space on your SSD. This hybrid approach allows you to maximize both performance and storage capacity without breaking the bank. Alright, let's talk RAM, or Random Access Memory, for those who like their acronyms spelled out. RAM is essentially your computer's short-term memory, where it stores data that it needs to access quickly. The more RAM you have, the more data your system can keep readily available, which can lead to faster loading times and smoother gameplay. Now, how much RAM you need for gaming really depends on the games you play and your overall system configuration. But as a general rule of thumb, 8 GB of RAM is considered the bare minimum for modern gaming. If you're serious about gaming and want to future-proof your rig, I'd recommend going for at least 16 GB. And if you're feeling really ambitious, or if you like to play RAM-hungry games like Microsoft Flight Simulator, you can even go up to 32 GB or 64 GB. Just make sure your motherboard and processor can support that much RAM. Okay, this next tip is not for the faint of heart, but it can potentially unlock some serious performance gains. I'm talking about overclocking. Overclocking is essentially pushing your hardware beyond its factory settings to squeeze out extra performance. It's like giving your components a shot of adrenaline. Now, before you go and start messing with your system's BIOS, I have to give you a disclaimer. Overclocking does come with some risks. If you're not careful, you can damage your hardware or void your warranty. So, proceed with caution and do your research before you attempt any overclocking. That being said, if you're careful and you know what you're doing, overclocking can be a great way to get more performance out of your existing hardware. Okay, let's get real. If you've tried everything else and you're still struggling to get the performance you want, it might be time to consider upgrading your graphics card. This is the single biggest upgrade you can make for gaming performance, but it's also the most expensive. A new GPU can transform your gaming experience, but it comes with a hefty price tag. Now I know what you're thinking, Linus, you said most of these tips wouldn't cost me anything, and you're right, I did. But sometimes the best solution requires a bit of investment. But hey, sometimes you gotta spend money to make money, right? Or in this case, spend money to get more frames. Or in this case, spend money to get more frames. Higher FPS can make a world of difference in your gaming experience. Do your research, find a card that fits your budget and your needs, and prepare to be amazed by the difference. Look for reviews, benchmarks, and user feedback to make an informed decision. We're talking about smoother frame rates, higher resolutions, and all the eye candy you can handle. Imagine playing your favorite games with all settings maxed out. But before you go and drop a small fortune on a new GPU, there's one crucial thing you need to remember: compatibility. Not all graphics cards are created equal, and not all motherboards can handle the latest and greatest GPUs. You don't want to end up with a card that doesn't fit or isn't supported by your system. Make sure to check your motherboard's specifications to see what kind of PCIe slots it has, and what the maximum GPU length it can accommodate is. This step is crucial to ensure a smooth upgrade process. Alright, let's move on from the expensive stuff and talk about something a little more affordable. Your mouse. Now you might be thinking, Linus, what difference can a mouse really make? And the answer is, a lot. A good gaming mouse can significantly improve your accuracy, reaction time, and overall comfort. We're talking about high DPI sensors, customizable buttons, and ergonomic designs that can help you game for hours on end without discomfort. First off, let's talk about DPI, or dots per inch. This basically determines how sensitive your mouse is. A higher DPI means you can move your cursor across the screen with less physical movement, which can be a huge advantage in fast-paced games. But DPI is just one piece of the puzzle. You also want a mouse with a high polling rate, which determines how often the mouse reports its position to the computer. Okay, this next tip might not be the most glamorous, but it's one of the most important. We're talking about cleaning your computer. No, I don't mean just wiping down the screen and keyboard. I'm talking about getting in there and giving your system a deep clean. Dust, hair, and other debris can accumulate inside your computer over time, and this can cause all sorts of problems. Dust can clog up your fans, which can lead to overheating and reduce performance. So, how often should you clean your computer? It really depends on your environment and how much dust you tend to accumulate. But as a general rule of thumb, I'd recommend cleaning it at least every 3 to 6 months. Now, cleaning your computer might seem daunting, but it's actually not that difficult. All you need is a can of compressed air, a microfiber cloth, and a little bit of patience. Alright, let's talk about sound. Specifically, let's talk about gaming headsets. A good gaming headset can make a world of difference in your gaming experience, especially in competitive games where sound cues can mean the difference between victory and defeat. First and foremost, you want a headset with good sound quality. This means clear highs, punchy bass, and a wide soundstage so you can accurately pinpoint the direction of enemy footsteps and gunfire. But sound quality is just one piece of the puzzle. You also want a headset with a comfortable fit, especially if you're going to be gaming for long periods of time. Look for a headset with plush ear cups and a headband that distributes weight evenly, and of course you want a headset with a good microphone. So there you have it, 10 ways to instantly boost your gaming performance. We talked about everything from optimizing your system settings to upgrading your hardware and peripherals. Now go forth and dominate your favorite games. Try these tips out, and let me know in the comments which one made the biggest difference for you. I'm always curious to hear what works for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more gaming tips and tricks, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy gaming.